on the sport's biggest stage? Those are the questions. Here are the answers. The celebration is on in the 617. The crew is ready. And my MVP is sitting right here. Flew in from Boston at 6 o'clock this morning. The Windman is all ready to go. Meanwhile, Monica McNutt is ready to go after covering all the festivities last night. And here they come. Mavs and Celtics, if you missed it on ABC, it was Boston looking for history, looking to separate themselves from their longtime nemesis, the Lakers, and win championship number 18, while Dallas was trying to keep it alive. We pick it up 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. This was a close game, Jay, and then it wasn't. Jaylen Brown, a huge part of the action.
Yeah, you can just tell right out of the gate the sense of urgency, the defensive discipline. Boston came to play, and they were active.
Defense is the key here. All these sequences we'll show you in the first quarter, Drea, turning defense into points.
Oh, if I had one frustration with Jaylen Brown, it was that he couldn't slam that ball home, but you can't say anything negative about the Celtics defense. They forced 13 turnovers, scored 17 points off of those turnovers.
The 9-0 run to close the first quarter. Now we're in the second, and look at Tatum working hard.
You know, you love that he plays inside out. The physicality of Jason Tatum, defensively playing the 5 position as well. Just did so many things for the Celtics last night.
Late in the half, I want you to see both ends of this play. First off, it's going to be Jaylen Brown with the bucket. But Windman, look what happens to Derek White.
Oh, my God, his face was an absolute mess after the game last night. He's going to need hours of dental surgery, but he did not care.
He's going to postpone that, I have a feeling, for
He'll be able to afford it.
That's right, Derek White responding in a big way, knocking down the 3 Celtics by 18. Now we're 20 seconds to go. This is where they really put the game away, right at the end of the first half. Huge sequence. Tatum with a 3. Then 4 seconds in the half. Peyton Pritchard, do your thing.
4 seconds to go. Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court to the buzzer. Bang! Pritchard at the buzzer with a 3-pointer. He's done it again.
Jay Will, is anyone better at anything than he is at that?
Yes, Mike Breen actually calling it before it actually happened.
I can't even describe the sound in the building last night. That was peak Boston.
And it was basically over. The rest of the way was a 24-minute coronation. Here's Tatum, Boston up 22 after the free throw. 5 minutes left. It's still 22. The Celtics can feel it. Tatum would finish with 31 and 11. Kyrie Irving, when it's all over, giving love to the other side. Boston just has not been his place. Classy there, exchanging greetings with everybody, but throw Deuce up in the air. Oh, congratulations to the Celtics. They are the champions. Jaylen Brown is your Bill Russell Finals MVP. The Celtics win it going away. It's their 18th championship, the most of any team in basketball history. And afterward, here's the dynamic duo.
What does holding this trophy mean to you?
It was a full team effort, and I shared this with my brothers and my partner in crime, Jason Tatum. He was with me the whole way, so we shared it together.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it! Oh, my God, we did it.
And that emotion is just extraordinary to see, genuinely extraordinary. And a lot of people will compare the "we did it" to the "anything is possible." And obviously it harkens back to that. But just to see it, all of that celebration, all of that emotion, all of that relief, all of those years, all of those struggles, that moment, that scream from Jason Tatum right there really summed it up better than I think anything we say possibly could.
Yeah, my emotions, first off, were extremely happy for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But my brain automatically went to applauding Brad Stevens. Like, Brad Stevens, the guy that moved from the head coach to the GM position, the guy that decided through all the turmoil to stick with these two when everybody in the world wanted to break these two up, to add some of the additional pieces of Porzingis, to let go of Marcus Smart, to add the addition of Drew Holiday. He's turned this team into a powerhouse, and I think he deserves a standing ovation this morning. Yes, the players deserve all the credit, but the mentalities that he pieced together to lead them to this point, Brad Stevens is a genius.
Now, every move he has made has turned to gold, particularly when he broke up, to at least some degree, that team that was in the final just 2 years ago, trading away Marcus Smart. A lot of people didn't like it at the time, but you see the way that it turns out making sense. And Drea, I know there's we could put the tweet up on the screen that Drea was asking about this morning. It really is how it started and how it's going. Look at those two. They look like they were about 11 years old in that picture on the top.
They are such babies, like classic haircuts for the time being, so we're not going to give them a hard time. And then look at the growth. I mean, the ability to give a dynamic duo or a trio or whatever, to give them time We don't see that in the NBA. How many teams have put together a big three, whether it was a season ago or 2 seasons ago, and we want immediate results? The Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have shown us that it doesn't always happen immediately. In fact, it rarely happens immediately, but when it happens the sweetest is when you give it time. The way those two performed side by side throughout the finals and shouldered the weight of this team, that's special, but it's a result of the time that they've put in.
I got it. They're actually the kid in play of the NBA. There you go. Kid in play. There you go.
I was thinking that. I didn't want to say it.
Similar.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were just really, really savoring it last night. I mean, Jaylen was very, very sort of subdued, just sort of turned in, just sort of looking at the trophy. As you saw there, Jason was extremely emotional in the locker room after the game. Nobody was more engaged in the moment than Jason was, totally celebrating it together. Going down the line, satisfaction for Kristaps Porzingis, who has had some disappointments in his career, played through an injury last night that he said he will now need surgery on that ankle. Derek White, with a face full of blood, his teeth were all jagged all over the place. He filled every single role for this team. Drew Holiday absolutely can't believe how this has fallen in his lap. He was stunned. He thought he was going to spend the rest of his career in Milwaukee. His life was turned upside down. He couldn't believe his good fortune to be able to contribute to that team. And I will say this, Marcus Smart's name was ringing in all their ears. The players were actively bringing it up. It was the brilliant Marcus Smart trade that helped get this team together, but they sort of were acknowledging him because he signifies the long journey that they had to get to this point.
And let's not forget the name Uncle Al Horford, 38 years old, gets his first championship ring. Monica McNutt is up with us early. She was there last night. Monica, again, all of these are great storylines. At the end of the day, this is about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown more than anything else, finally getting it done.
100%, Greeny. And I think the moment that Jaylen Brown was awarded the Finals MVP trophy and he made it a point to talk about the experience alongside Jason Tatum, it just kind of shows you the growth of this organization together, right? To Drea's point, you don't have the chance for it to happen that way that often. But I think the other part about it, too, is while I'm sure they would have loved to get this done in 2022 or prior to this point, I don't know that they could have, right? Like we talk about the brilliant moves that Brad Stevens makes, but we talk about also the fortitude and the ability to respond. Going into yesterday's game, and Wendy and I were both a part of this conversation on Hoop Streams, there was still this question about what would Jason Tatum do, right? And I think through the first half in particular, he was a terrific facilitator. His team shot 9 of 11 off of his passes and 82%. He didn't need to score the basketball. And then, of course, in the fourth, the floodgates open up. But I think the understanding and the self-assuredness that you see both of these guys now demonstrating, it just trickles down the entire roster.
Look, they were the best team in the NBA from the moment the ball was tipped off in whatever day in October it was that we started this season. They played 101 games this year. They won 80 of them. They finished 80-21. And we'll put up statistics as the day goes on that shows that their domination of the entire league this year, of the Eastern Conference with a 14-game cushion when the regular season was over, of their record against the West this year, which was thoroughly dominant in every way, for all we want to talk about how much better we think the West was than the East. They ran through this postseason losing only 3 games and never really being challenged. We're going to talk about the Mavericks. We're going to talk about them falling short. We're going to talk about Kyrie and Luka. But the first thing to say about them is they ran into a better team. The Celtics were the best team in the NBA.
And I've been in that arena so many times for losses there. I was there in 2018 when they lost to the Cavs in Game 7 with really a subpar LeBron team. I was there 2 years ago when it was the other different colored confetti that was on the floor, when Steph Curry was holding that trophy and having his crowning moment, and the Celtics were thinking that they had missed a huge opportunity. They didn't know if they would be back. Last year, totally missed a chance to get back to the finals, losing Game 7 on their home court to Miami. These are the pieces that were around them when they came together for this year to say that this is when they can finally overcome it. And so when they were standing there together celebrating now with the white and green confetti coming down this time, finally celebrating a great end to the season on their court, all of those losses, all of those failures contributed to that. And even though Jason and Jaylen are still young, they are very, very battle-hardened, and that enabled this to be so much sweeter for them and to be really great for the whole organization.
Let me very quickly show you just how much that's true. Cindy, can we put up full screen number 4 for this morning? Because the combination of Tatum and Brown now get off of a list that no one wants to be on, and that is duos to play the most playoff games together without winning a championship. They had played 107 playoff games together before winning their championship last night. That was the most games that any combination of two players had ever played together in the playoffs before finally winning a championship. That's how long this road has been.
They've been battle tested, and they actually answered the bell at the end of the day.